Why does it seem that everyone likes to have a good old giggle at the Arsenal?
Let's talk about Arsenal. Let's talk about them.
I think it's more like stay crumble for Arsenal rather than stay humble. We know how their season goes.
Liverpool must be laughing their pants off. That's the closest team we've got to us. Arsenal.
Arsenal 0, West Ham 1, Jared Bowen. And there was a chant as well of Declan Rice, you should have joined a big club. The West Ham fans certainly enjoying his misery.
Not beyond a joke. It's not a joke if you're an Arsenal fan, but where's the goal scorer?
It's been the most feeble title challenge ever. Like they've been miles off it, 13 points.
This is not me winding you up, right? Because it's quite easy to do that. I haven't ever seen an Arsenal side that have been fantastic.
In this season, when City have imploded completely, this was Arsenal's chance, and Mikel Arteta's got it all wrong.
I think it's that delusion from the Arsenal fans where they get to Christmas, the top of the league, and then they end up never winning it.
Getting restless around us here at Emirates Stadium.
I actually feel sorry for Arsenal fans. Performance out there tonight.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
That is cheeky. That is a naughty laugh, isn't it?
Listen, Arsenal fans, don't bite, okay?
Yes.
This is a complete wind-up. Do not bite our heads off this morning, but all signs point to the Gunners finishing second place currently with a 12-point gap behind league leaders Liverpool. Earlier this week, Arsenal invincible Martin Keown politely asked Simon Jordan why he didn't call Liverpool bottle jobs after Sunday's Cup final.
I could say, and I'm just hearing it in my ears now, you can say I'm paranoid again. If this was Arsenal losing 2 major games like that, you'd say they bottled it.
To win the league?
But I don't think, they've just gone out of the Champions League and they've just lost the cup final. You'd be saying Arsenal have bottled it.
No, I wouldn't, because they're going to win.
No, yeah, you would, because that is a mischievous part to your personality. We're seeing all of it exposed here this morning.
But Arsenal,
you've no love for the fact that a team has won a trophy after 70 years, and you can't find it in your heart to see any joy in that.
All done.
But you want to aim at an easy target.
All done.
Right. But I'm going to say, no, Liverpool. That was taken away from them by a very good Newcastle. And Liverpool haven't bottled it at all.
So let's get it right. You just asked the question, answered it yourself, created a narrative amongst yourself, and had a debate with yourself.
I'm learning with you.
I would not suggest, if Arsenal won bugger all, which is what they do right now, I would say they bottled it, right? If Liverpool lose the league now, what do you think I'll say?
Liverpool aren't going to lose the league. I'm talking about what's just happened. What have they just lost?
So you can't
what have they just lost this week?
You can't make the argument they've bottled it, can you? And you can't compare it to the argument that I made with Arsenal, who were 8 points clear in the one competition that they could win. The one competition they could win, and they didn't. Liverpool had 3 opportunities to win a competition. If they win one of them, I'm not going to turn around and say they bottled it. And by the way, I wasn't in the camp of saying they were going to do a treble either.
Simon Jordan and Martin Keown going at it the other day. That clip went everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Simon's right for once, though. I think Simon's right. Martin, I love Martin Keown, but he's wrong. Listen, Liverpool, the quadruple's on, didn't happen, but over 38 games, they're going to win the Premier League. They're 12 points ahead of Arsenal. Arsenal crumbled by being 8 points ahead of Manchester City and losing it, and now they're 12 points behind. When Man City have had a bad season, Arsenal would have thought they were going to win it, and they haven't. So I think Arsenal not won a Premier League since 2004. 21 years. Is Arteta the man to bring that over the line?
Well, let's get the thoughts of Arsenal fan and broadcaster. Very good morning to Harry Symeou. Morning, Harry. How you doing?
Good morning, Harry.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah,
morning,
good.
Mate.
Good. I actually felt for Martin in that clip because I kind of understand what he's saying. I think if it were Arsenal in the final and they'd lost it, everyone would have battered them, because that's what people seem to do. Is there's like a disrespect on Arsenal?
Yeah, there is, Shebahn. The problem that Arsenal have is because we're a huge football club, and I'd argue that we're the 3rd biggest football club in this country with a huge global fan base. People that come out with really nonsensical narratives like they've bottled it know exactly what they're doing. They know they're going to get clicks, they know it's going to bring traffic, and they know they're going to get a reaction. And you know what? I came on this morning and I wasn't going to react, but I'm going to react now. Because those clips are an absolute disgrace. Listening to people that should know far better claiming that Arsenal have bottled it, that Arsenal have crumbled. Football is the best sport in the world because there are so many variables in it. And people who have played the game seem to forget that. We hear ex-pros get on the radio, get on TV and moan that managers never get time and that football's become really knee-jerk. Well, we've created this environment by throwing around nonsensical terms like bottled it, to ignore the injuries, to ignore some of the decisions that have gone against Arsenal, to ignore the context in which they find themselves in second place and in a position where they're not going to win the league is just really basic surface level analysis. It's lazy. You need to look into it in a lot more detail, and only when you do that can you paint a true picture of where Arsenal are at, and just some of that is so unfair.
But Harry, like, I hear some of what you're saying, but when you look at what Arteta's done since he's come in, you know, been there 5 years, won FA Cup and Community Shield like he has to make sure we know. But the amount of money he spent, we've got a list here of all the signings and year by year how much he spent, over 650 million. I do feel the time when Man City were 8 points behind you, I feel like, did you crumble it then? It's hard to say you didn't. This season, yes, you had injuries, but still, you're 12 points behind. And certain parts of the season, Liverpool dropped points. It might have been against Everton maybe, or maybe another team, they dropped points. Arsenal were playing West Ham. Go and beat them. Nope, you lose the game. Do you know what I mean? When the pressure's a bit on and you've got to go and perform, they ended up losing the game.
But again, Gabby, you're ignoring some of the context, because you said that Arsenal were 8 points clear. They were never 8 points clear. There was always a game in hand for Man City, so it was 5 points, really.
Yeah.
Manchester City have been spoken about as one of the generational teams. Mm-hmm. So this idea that Arsenal are crumbling at the hands of sort of really weak opposition and literally throwing it away is a nonsense. They've been caught up by a really good team. And to your point about how long Mikel Arteta has been in charge, this is the first season in 4 where you could even make an argument that there's been some regression. So does he not have some credit in the bank, having picked Arsenal up from a position, as you guys would say, where they were miles off it and getting into a space where they're challenging for the league? They're still
how long do you give him, though? I understand totally until this season. I'm with you, but when you see this season and the money that he spent season on season, I know other teams spend a lot of money, of course, but when are Arsenal fans going to say, okay, this guy is a nearly guy?
They weren't backed. He went back to the one absolute golden attacker who will always give you something's been out injured, and that's Saka. Sometimes I think he's underrated by football fans who aren't Arsenal fans. Right, he has been such a mess. You were missing, what was it, Odegaard for something like 8 games near the start of the season. And also, he's been in a title race for the last 3 consecutive seasons.
And not one.
And not one, but because Manchester City have been dominating, that doesn't make Mikel Arteta a bad manager.
But I know what you're saying. But Harry, you will know a lot more Arsenal fans than me, but I know a lot of Arsenal fans, and they're frustrated, mate. They're like, come on, we need to win the Premier League now. Do you know what I mean? This isn't just me saying it, or other people that work on the media. Arsenal fans that are not happy.
Of course Arsenal fans are frustrated, because we all want what's best for the team and we want the club to get over the line and win the Premier League. But you have to be able to zoom out and analyse the situation fairly. As Shebahn mentioned, there's been no Bukayo Saka since December. Martin Odegaard missed 2 months of the season. There's no centre forward in Kai Havertz because he's out. We've been without Gabriel Martinelli. We've been without Ben White for multiple months. If I took that equivalent of players out of the Liverpool side, you'd all be sitting here saying, oh my God, look at Liverpool dropping off. Jurgen Klopp took years to win the Premier League, and I'm not excusing Mikel Arteta of any blame whatsoever. Of course he's played his part, and I've said many times that I think he's made some mistakes. I think the club have made some mistakes. But this narrative of they've bottled it, they've thrown it away, it's just lazy analysis that ignores all the context to where Arsenal are at. We know it drives clicks, we know it drives engagement, and we know Arsenal are a big football club, and as a result of that, people are going to keep peddling it. But it's down to us, I think, to make sure that the clear picture is being assessed, and it's not at the moment, unfortunately. When you listen to those clips, it's laughable, honestly.
Well, Harry, you've had your say this morning. Harry Symeou, Arsenal broadcaster, talkSPORT presenter, thank you so much for your time this morning.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.